Victor Blackwell has exclusive information, some disturbing new evidence, photos and videos that only raise more questions. And we do want to warn you, some of the video you're about to see is graphic, difficult to watch. Here's Victor's report.
It's the only video shot inside the Lowndes High School gym the day 17-year-old Kendrick Johnson was found dead. And with his parents' approval, we're showing it for the first time. Lowndes County, Georgia investigators say Kendrick's death was a tragic accident, that he climbed onto these rolled gym mats to reach for this shoe at the center of one mat, slipped, got stuck upside down, and died. County officials say the blood in this photo spilled after Kendrick's heart had stopped pumping hours after he had died. But Kendrick's parents say the photo and the video show something else.
There's enough evidence to show that Kendrick was murdered.
CNN has exclusively obtained the 15-minute video and nearly 700 photos of the scene taken by Lowndes County investigators. And for the first time, Kendrick's parents, Kenneth and Jacqueline Johnson, are ready to look at them, including these pictures of orange and black gym shoes investigators found just yards from Kendrick's body.
Did these shoes belong to Kendrick?
No.
When you look at these shoes that were at the scene, what stands out to you?
The blood on the shoe.
But investigators say tests show the stains are something other than blood, so the shoes were not collected as potential evidence.
I don't understand why.
CNN took the photos to independent private investigator and former FBI special agent Harold Kopis. If you were on this scene, would this have been something you would have left?
No. Bag and tag.
There's no indication investigators ever even looked for the owner of the shoes or this hooded sweatshirt found a few feet from Kendrick's body.
And if you look real close, there's something on this particular cuff. And then the question is, was it blood? Did you test it?
According to the crime lab report, no.
They know something happened in that gym, and they don't want it to come out.
For the Johnsons, there's no stronger indicator than this photo. It's of what appears to be blood dripping down a wall. Here's what Lowndes County Lieutenant Stride Jones told CNN about that wall in May.
And we tested it, and it was blood. Now, we did DNA testing, and it was not the blood of Kendrick Johnson.
If it wasn't Kendrick blood, whose blood was it?
Did you ever find out who it was or any involved?
No, as of now, we haven't, no. But it doesn't appear to be related to our crime in any way.
But it doesn't appear to be related to our crime in any way.
What do you think about the decision not to test it further?
You can't explain it. If you're running the crime scene, then you're going to say that's potential evidence. Obviously, we're going to check this out and find out who does it belong to.
This is an athletic gym. I mean, obviously, this is where they conduct various athletic classes and instructions at.
A kid couldn't have scraped their knee or arm or something and got that much blood on the wall.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 impacts.
The opinion of our crime scene personnel, after looking at it closely, the blood appeared as if it had been there for an extended period of time. It didn't appear to be very fresh.
School gym. There is no way that they would allow whoever was supposed to clean this gym to leave that blood on that wall.
And there's the question, why was there no blood where they expected to see lots of blood? Remember the photo of that shoe investigators say was inches below Kendrick's head? Look at it again.
If he was inside the mat, reaching for that shoe, inside this tube, reaching for the shoe, and the shoe is beneath him, why isn't that shoe covered with blood?
And what do you think about that shoe not being covered with blood?
It was placed there.
Hey, what's going on with y'all, man? It's Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video so y'all already know what's going on. Alright, in this part of the video, I wanted to show y'all a few things and basically talk about that first clip. So what I'm going to be doing is kind of just coming in and out of the video and breaking down each clip as the video goes on. Now, I know a lot of y'all are aware of this case. You know, you might have seen a bunch of these clips long ago because most of them are about 7 years old, 5 years, 7 years old. So a lot of y'all know what's going on. So we just gonna go back over this case, go over a few things that you may have missed or that, you just didn't know, or maybe some of y'all didn't even catch this case at all. Who knows, right? All right, now going back over this case, this was something that I noticed, and it made me think about another case as well. Then it also made me do a search where, I was able to just find different articles, with different deaths and, like mass shootings and things like that, where shoes are oddly placed at the scene. Now, this was the shoe that he was supposedly reaching for and died trying to reach for the shoe. Now, obviously, we know that is not the case. It's not true. He did not die trying to reach for this shoe. And when I saw it, it triggered my mind. It triggered my mind, and it made me think about Kenneka Jenkins. Now, here we get another case where the shoe was oddly placed in the vicinity of the body. You got to remember, with Kendrick Johnson, there was also another shoe that was like a little bit further down from him by the stands. It was like another Nike shoe, I think. When I saw this, it immediately made me think about this being a ritual, this being a Freemasonic ritual. You see the red bricks right there in this photo with Kenneka. Also, this is why I brought up the fact about shoes being left at scenes of mass shootings and sacrifices and, just random murders that you would see on TV, but you're not actually paying attention to it. It's a sign of sacrifice. It's a sign of a mass murder hoax, or whatever you want to call it. Because I've seen, and I got a few pictures that I could show you of different cases, different shooting hoax, whatever, different psyops where, shoes are like oddly placed in the picture. It's another form of black magic. It's another form of magic that gets you to accept the narrative of what you're looking at, especially if you look at it. It's only possible if you look at it and you're in that state of being highly emotional, because you believe that, you believe what they're trying to tell you about what happened. It doesn't have to be exactly the Kendrick Johnson case or Kenneka. It could be any other case that, had some kind of like random shoe sitting around the body or bodies that were killed. When I saw it, that's why I said it instantly made me think of Kenneka, because it doesn't happen naturally. Like, the shoes are oddly placed, like how the dad said that the shoe was placed there, because if blood was running out of his mouth and nose and so much blood came out of the top of his head, why isn't it on the shoe as well? Why is the shoe just basically sitting there with nothing on it but it's blood right next to the shoe? This is obvious the shoe was placed there. It's obvious that the shoe was placed there. Now, I get a weird feeling from the dad and the mom. Like, I ain't trying to be insensitive and just say that they had something to do or they could have been behind this ritual, but I get a weird feeling from them as they're sitting there, like, talking to the reporter. I just get a weird feeling. The way that they're kind of like just sitting there. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain what I get from them. Like the feeling I'm getting from them, but it just seems like they're just obeying, what they have to do to kind of like put their side of the story out there. It's like they don't want to be too forward or too emotional. They're just sitting there like kind of just taking it. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to really say what I feel from them, but something just kind of don't really feel right coming from the dad and the mom while they're sitting there talking. You know what I'm saying? So, going back to the shoe thing, I felt that was that piece was one of the most important pieces about this case, because it relayed back to the Kanika Jenkins case and a bunch of other ones that, where shoes were oddly placed around the death. Now, just like with the Kanika case, I don't know how that shoe got there. Like, obviously, I believe that shoe was placed there as well. I don't think she just kicked off one shoe somehow and, that was that. You know what I'm saying? I just don't feel like that was natural. She didn't take off just one shoe, and I think it was her right shoe that she took off. And then a lot of the pictures that I saw online, it was the right shoe missing. The Kendrick case, he was reaching for a left shoe. But if I'm not, I need to get the picture of the other shoe that they had. I think it's in one of the clips that I'm going to show. If I'm not mistaken, I think the other shoe that was by the stands was a left shoe. But I'll have to confirm that later in the video. So that kind of wraps up what I wanted to talk about that first clip. I know that'll be pretty interesting. If you have never heard about basically the Freemasonic shoe ritual, and, if you haven't, definitely feel free to look it up. I probably wouldn't look it up on Google, but you could on any other search engine. And one last thing about Kendrick Johnson and Kanika Jenkins is the K and the J. I find that weird. I find it weird, even though they were 4 years apart when both sacrifices happened. It's just weird that his name was Kendrick Johnson, her name was Kanika Jenkins. K and J, they were both young and black. He was 17. She might have been 18, 19. I don't remember her age, so y'all could let us know in the comments. But I find it odd that they both have the same initials. They were both young and black, and both of their cases are basically unsolved, and they have connections to organ harvesting and basically child sacrifice. So with that being said, y'all, we're going to go to the next clip, and I'll be back in a minute.
Someone murdered him. They should be in jail. They are covering it up. They should be in jail.
Victor Blackwell joins us now. So the former FBI agent says that the crime scene was contaminated. How so?
Well, Harold Copa says that it's crime scene 101, that when you're on a scene investigating, you wear the shoe protectors. Those are the blue booties you see on the crime shows on television. Well, look at these pictures. You can see here that these investigators are not wearing the shoe protectors, and it's not so much to protect the scene, rather to protect your shoes, but it's to protect the scene from anything you could track in. And Copa says because they're not wearing those protectors, this scene was obviously contaminated. It's the second time Jacqueline Johnson cried next to her son Kendrick's grave. The first time he was being lowered into the ground. This time he's being pulled out of it.
Did you ever expect you'd have to exhume his body?
No, I didn't expect to have to bury his body.
In June, Kendrick's body was sent to Florida. The Johnsons hired Dr. Bill Anderson to conduct an independent second autopsy. In that autopsy, Anderson told the Johnsons he'd found evidence that Kendrick died as the result of a blow to the neck and not accidental asphyxia, after slipping into a rolled gym mat at school, as investigators in Georgia had said. But what Dr. Anderson did not find shocked them.
When we got the body for the second autopsy, that organs, the heart, lungs, liver, etc., were not with the body.
The brain?
The brain, they were all absent.
Every organ from the top of Kendrick's head to his pelvis gone, and his family had no idea.
We have been let down again. And when we buried Kendrick, we thought we was burying Kendrick, not half of Kendrick.
I'm not sure at this point who did not return the organs to the body, but I know when we got the body, the organs were not there.
So, CNN contacted the two entities that had custody of Kendrick's body and access to his organs: the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which conducted the first autopsy in January, and Harrington Funeral Home, which the Johnsons chose to embalm and prepare Kendrick's body for burial days later. A spokeswoman for the state tells CNN after its autopsy, the organs were placed in Johnson's body, the body was closed, then the body was released to the funeral home. State investigators say it's their normal practice, but what happened after his body arrived at the funeral home was anything but normal.
What was in the place of the organs?
Newspaper.
Newspaper.
Dr. Anderson showed me the pictures of Kendrick's body he'd taken during the second autopsy.
It's a Black Friday ad, JCPenney ad.
Yes.
Stuffing that newspaper in like he was a garbage can inside his body. It's unbelievable.
I'd imagine that that's a different kind of pain.
Yep.
Why do you think that there would be newspaper stuffed in your child?
I never heard of that before. Never.
Neither had the founder of a National Embalming Academy contacted by CNN, who said it's not consistent with the standards of care in the industry. Nor had the president of the National Association of Medical Examiners, who told CNN he's never heard of this practice.
Why would the funeral home discard his organs and stuff them with newspaper?
The question is, why didn't he tell us?
All right, now, in this part, I'm going to assume that they kind of like reenacted the shoe placement, you know, because there's no blood around that shoe, and I don't think that's the exact mat that he was found in. But it goes to show you about my point about the shoes and how they oddly placed it right there. You know, this is really kind of telling you almost what exactly happened without telling you, you know. Why else would they kind of like reenact this little scene right here and place the shoe right there at the mat to kind of give you, you know, to kind of like make you envision what actually happened, you know, another form of magic, basically, you know, because obviously, I mean, look at those mats. The mats are all rolled up tightly. So it's like whoever rolled up the mats, they made sure all of them were rolled up tightly. But the one that he was supposedly found dead in, it was open enough for him to go through the mat. I don't understand that. Like, this whole case, it has, you know, logically, it doesn't make any sense, you know? Because it's like, why would you go through the mat to even try to retrieve something on the other side of the mat? Just go around it. Move the mat out the way. Why would you climb through the mat? When you think about it, it's actually like, you know, you actually, you know, you feel tried. Like, they're trying my intelligence with this case. You know what I'm saying? Like, and plenty other people who think the way that I do. Because this is impossible. It's impossible. Clearly, you know, clearly he did not climb into that mat. He was rolled into the mat. You know, you couldn't convince me. You couldn't convince me of anything else. I mean, look at the mat. That's him inside of that mat right there. You could see his feet. You telling me, 17-year-old boy, and he looked like he had a little bit of height on him. Obviously, he wasn't that big, like as in weight or mass, but you telling me he was able to climb all the way into that mat to where we can only see his feet. We can't even see his shorts, pants, or nothing. We can just see the bottom of his feet. He was able to get all the way in there, and then he died. Accidental asphyxia. Are you serious? Really? Really? A perfectly healthy child, teenager, young boy, climbed in there and couldn't handle it. He couldn't get his way out before he suffocated. Really? Oh, my God. Going back over this, like, really, it kind of gets you in your feelings, and not in your feelings of like being emotional. It just make you mad. It's like, how the hell could y'all actually put this out and then think I was gonna believe it? Me? Y'all tried me. Forget everybody else. And man, if y'all ever believe this, please, I really hope that, you know, I'm changing your mind right now. Look at the mat. Look at it. It's not funny, but bro, you could have moved that mat out the way. Clearly he didn't climb in there, man. He did not climb in there. That's all I have to say about this part, man. We're gonna move on to to the next clip because I think things get a little bit more interesting. So check this out.
Shows Kendrick walking in from the right side of your screen there. He's behind another student, and as soon as he runs out, you see that student disappears and a couple of other students appear. It's from one image to the next with no explanation of how those students got to that position or where the student at that red shirt went. Now, we blurred their faces because they're minors in this video and the next. Let's go to the next one. You can see Kendrick at the bottom right of the screen. He's walking at first, and then he runs out of the frame, and just like the first video, other students just appear. No explanation of how they got to that point. You don't see them walk in. We've not edited these videos to just kind of put one image next to the other. This is how we receive them from the sheriff's office today.
So the video seems to be jumping around. You're saying those aren't edits? Is that, I mean, I assume it's a motion sensor camera. Is that the way it's supposed to work, that it may take a few seconds for an image to register?
That was our first question. When we see the images, especially of Kendrick with all these hours of video, it's like, well, what happened at the end of this and how did these students appear? Was this video edited? So we reached out to both the school that owns the cameras that recorded it and then the sheriff's office, which had a copy of it, which supplied it to us. I want to read you the statements. First, from the school district, an attorney for Lowndes County Schools says simply, what we produced to the sheriff is a raw feed with no edits. And then from the attorney for the sheriff's office, my client has confirmed that the video was not altered or edited by anyone within the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office. They both maintain that what we see is exactly what was recorded.
What about the corner where the gym mats are, or where Kendrick's body was ultimately found? I mean, that seems to be the key place. We've known there was a camera there. You saw the video from that camera today. What did you see?
Yeah, this is the most important camera of all 36, and I want to show you the video. It's blurry. Of all 36 cameras, a video that was provided, this angle is blurry. It's almost impossible to make out any of the faces. And if you look at the corner, it's the top left of the image. Those are the mats in which Kendrick Johnson was found. What you don't see is the top of the mats. And we know why that's important because sheriff's deputies say that he climbed in through the top of the mat. They say that the students who found him were playing on top of those mats. And in this video, because you can't see that image, you can't see that. Also, you know, we saw from one image to the next in the other videos, from looking at this, we see students playing basketball, and then a few frames later, we see what appears to possibly be the nurse running in. Then we see someone running through with a gurney. So there is, we know from the file, of the investigative file, there are activities and there are events between these, but we just don't see them through what is the only blurry image, the blurry angle of all 36 cameras that were provided by the school district and the sheriff's office.
So, all right, as I told y'all, I would be coming in and out of this video because it honestly needs a lot of explaining rather than just letting these clips play out. Now, what I see from this footage right here, where we basically have two different footages. We have the scene where Kendrick was supposedly walking across the gym floor with a teenager in the background in red. As Kendrick goes out of the frame, it switches to basically another scene in the gym where Kendrick was not a part of this scene. He was never in the gym in this scene where the dude in the lime green shirt is. It just switched to another frame that was probably from another day, later in the day, or earlier in that day, from the time that Kendrick was supposedly in the gym. Now, I say supposedly because I don't believe Kendrick Johnson ever walked into the gym. If you look at the frame, now when you look at this, if you notice, Kendrick starts to run. Like, he kind of like starts to jog a little bit. And it seems weird because if you see the kids are like walking on this right side of the court, right? As if they're like crossing through the gym to go to like their next class or whatever the case is. Kendrick is actually walking onto the court. So he's not following the path that the dude in the red shirt was taking or this guy right here in the gray shirt. See how they're in the background basically walking probably to a door that's down there. Kendrick was walking to an angle, almost as if he wasn't going out of the gym. He was like going somewhere in the middle of the gym. That to me was completely out of placement, like as if, like I said, Kendrick never entered the gym. These were doctored frames. They made it as if he was actually in the gym. You know, they have another piece of footage, which I'm going to show y'all in a second, of him walking into the gym. This explains why the footage of the mats and stuff, that's the blurry footage. Like he said, the most important piece of footage, just like any other case we get, just happens to be blurry. These are not blurry at all. But the most important angle of the entire case that shows the mats, that would have shown who found Kendrick, that would have shown how the mats actually looked throughout the day. That's the thing. Were they all closed? How long was his body truly in the mat? Those are the questions that we don't know because that camera angle is blurry. We can't see anything. They were playing on top of the mats while he was supposedly dead in one of the mats. That's why I say these frames were doctored. He never entered the gym by himself. He never walked through the gym. He was killed, rolled up in the mat, and placed in the gym. I don't believe he actually died in the gym. There's no way. That's why the frames are so all over the place. But we're going to get to a couple of more frames before I keep going. And I'm going to come back for one final time to wrap up the video. So check this next clip out.
Exclusive investigation into the death of Kendrick Johnson. Specifically, what school surveillance video can tell us about how he died and what's missing from it? Again, here's Victor Blackwell.
CNN has hired Grant Fredericks and his team at Forensic Video Solutions to analyze the hundreds of hours of surveillance from Lowndes High School. Although he does not believe the jumpy video is the result of editing, he says there are some other major problems.
Those files are not original files. They're not something that an investigator should rely on for the truth of the video. They've been altered in a number of ways, primarily in image quality, and likely in dropped information loss. There are also a number of files that are corrupted because they've not been processed correctly and they're not playable. So I can't say why they were done that way, but they were not done correctly and they were not done thoroughly. So we're missing information.
Fredericks says that's likely due to how investigators acquired the surveillance video.
Right now, what they've done is they have left it up to the school district to define what it is they want to provide the police. And I think that probably is a mistake.
According to Lowndes County Sheriff's Office incident reports, a detective watched a portion of the surveillance video the day Kendrick Johnson was found. Then he asked the school board's information technology worker for a copy of the surveillance video for the entire wing of the school with the old gym for the last 48 hours. 5 days later, that IT worker provided a hard drive, and according to the incident report, the detective verified it contained the requested surveillance video.
So the investigator's responsibility is to acquire the entire digital video recording system and then have their staff define what they want to obtain. You don't want somebody who might be party to the responsibility to make the decision as to what they provide the police.
And after hours of analysis, Fredericks questions whether Lowndes County Schools provided all of the surveillance video from the old gym to investigators.
There is a whole of time where none of the cameras provide any record that I've been provided.
Fredericks has all the camera angles and all the video released by the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office.
There are 4 cameras in the gym that records motion from when the lights turn on in the morning until when the lights are turned off at night, except for the area of interest.
Except for the area of interest.
The moments before Kendrick Johnson enters the gym. Look at what happens to the recordings from these 4 cameras in the gym. The time is recorded with the video. The first camera captures images from the start of the day until 12:04 p.m. Then, nothing. It picks up again at 1:09 p.m. There's consistent surveillance from the second camera until 11:05 a.m. Then it stops and picks up again more than 2 hours later at 1:15 p.m. The third camera also drops at 11:05 a.m. It picks up again at 1:16 p.m. And from the final camera, there's surveillance until 12:04 p.m., no recording for more than an hour, then it picks up again at 1:09 p.m.
I would absolutely expect there to be some record of that activity, and we don't have any here.
Here's why Fredericks would have expected the motion-activated system to record during that time. During that hour and 5 minutes, several students are seen walking into and out of the old gym from the surveillance camera just outside the gym door. We count 7 male students, and 3 of them walk into the gym within 3 minutes prior to Kendrick Johnson walking in.
I can't tell you whether there was no information recorded in the digital video system, or whether somebody made an error and didn't capture it, or whether somebody just didn't provide it.
When surveillance in the gym resumes at 1:09, we see just these few frames of Kendrick Johnson running in the gym. Here's that moment from all of the cameras in the gym, although there's a record from only 2, and the camera just outside the door. Notice, the hall camera timestamp appears to be 10 minutes behind, and there's no confirmation either time matches the exact time of day. It is the last time his image is captured on video. For the next hour, there are multiple gaps in the video surveillance in the gym.
And that is crucial. It's a really important time.
Well, it really is the only option to answer the question, really what happened.
And there's no video showing the initial discovery of a body in the gym. The next time we see Kendrick Johnson is the following day when he's being wheeled out of the gym in a body bag.
Do you believe it's a coincidence that that time period in the gym is missing?
Oh boy. Investigators are always suspicious and should be suspicious. And it's suspicious that that time period is not there. So yes, I would be suspicious. And until I have the digital video system in my hand, until I can say, or an investigator can say, everything is intact, this was what's recorded, I would still be highly suspicious.
All right, now, after that part, y'all almost don't even need me to come back and explain anything to y'all. If y'all ain't got it by now that this was completely fabricated, nothing of how they said things went down went the way that they said. Nothing. Ain't it just so coincidental that all 4 of the cameras located inside of this gym, all 4 of them, they all have time lapses from when the day started leading up to the moments that he supposedly entered the gym. You saw the footage. Go back and watch it if you need to see the timestamps again. One camera stops at about 11:09. Another camera stops at like 12:09, doesn't resume until an hour later. The 11 o'clock camera didn't resume until I think almost 2 hours later. The other camera was like another hour later. All 4 of them had time lapses where they stopped and they didn't record anything for about an hour or 2. And just like he said, the time where he supposedly was caught on video entering the gym has a time lapse of 10 minutes from when he was seen in this photo in the gym. So when he's entering the gym, it was like 12:49. When he's in this photo in the gym, it was actually 1:09. And like he said in the clip, that's not even verified if that was actually the time of the day. These things aren't verified. So we don't know what time any of this stuff actually happened. That's why I said we don't even know where, we don't even know like that this could be from another day. You know what I'm saying? Like this could, him, supposedly a gray hoodie was found. We don't see any of that on footage. I didn't see it on the footage. Him with a gray hoodie, unless I'm like blind and not seeing something. I didn't see him with a gray hoodie walking into the gym. He had on those jeans and a white shirt. I didn't see that. So clearly that's why I thought and think that he never entered the gym, that they doctored these frames, because it's very possible for them to edit these frames and make it seem like he's actually in the gym. You see in that photo, he was looking to the left of the gym. There's no one there. There's no one else in the gym. What is he actually looking at in the gym? Where he's just standing there right here and just looking off to the left as he's walking. It's like, what is he looking at? There's nobody over there. The whole thing of him being like placed into the gym is eerie as hell. Give you a weird ass feeling. You know, and I think part of that weird ass feeling is because he's not actually in the gym. The way that they edited and doctored the footage, they edited so it would make him seem like he's in the gym. As I've said, I personally don't think he ever walked in the gym. I believe he was murdered and wrapped up in that mat and maybe placed there. Look at all the rest of the mats and then look at the one where his body is in. Do you notice something about this? Now, that wall is where the blood stains were. All of those mats are standing up. There's a few in front that are laying down, but they're not perfectly rolled. What do you notice about where his body was found? The fucking mat is perfectly rolled, bro. Look at that mat. Look at the symmetry of that shit. It's perfectly rolled. Look at the other mats. They're like not even perfectly rolled. You know how like you roll up a rug, and if you don't roll it perfect from both sides, it ends up being longer on one side? That's how those mats look. This one is perfect. I'm talking about perfect. They rolled that motherfucker perfect. Perfect, with a whole body inside of it. Because guess what? There's a solid body inside of it, so it made it easier to roll the shit up. That's how you know he didn't climb in it. When there's something solid, that's why when you get a rug, there's that little, that like cardboard long, you know, like long little piece that they put at the bottom of the rug to roll the rug up, because you need something solid in the rug. It helps you roll up the rug perfect. Case cracked. He was rolled up in the shit. Case is cracked. That's why it's rolled perfect, bro. I was waiting for this moment to just drop that on y'all. Case closed, case cracked. He didn't climb in there. He was rolled in it. That's why it's rolled so perfect. You wouldn't be able to roll it like that without something being inside of it. Or they're going to look like these ones that are to the left right here. I know I'm not tripping. I know I'm not tripping. And if y'all need to go back, look at the footage closely, I mean, the evidence is right there. You know? It's right there. And I'm not going to keep going on and continue what I'm saying, because this video and those clips that they're showing you is hella proof that he was murdered. He was sacrificed. This was a ritual sacrifice. I don't know who killed him. I don't even think the two boys that, you know, who supposedly had their dads and stuff. The dad was like a former FBI agent. I don't think they had anything to do with it. I think that was just, you know, that was just a narrative given to have something attached to make it be racial, you know, because they want everything to be black and white. You know, a long time ago when I first looked this story up in 2013, because I was super interested in it, I just always been this way. I found a bunch of comments that were supposedly from kids that went to the school that said it could have possibly been over Kendrick dating a girl that one of the two boys liked, or that he was going to go to prom with her or something like that, that it could have possibly been over a girl. But I don't believe that. After you know, now going through, you know, knowing what I know now, I have no idea who actually killed him. That's why I believe this was all planned before this even happened. I don't believe this was a complete cover-up like the two boys, you know, they got into it with Kendrick somehow and they killed him, and then they were smart enough to perfectly roll him up in a mat and place him in the gym. I don't think that's how it went down. I don't think they would have been, they're young. They never killed no one before. I don't think they would have had the mind to do it the way that they did it. And then damn near stage it to make it seem like he suffocated in the mat. It just doesn't make sense. I just believe they went with that narrative to try to spark, you know, racial tension, as they always do with these cases that go viral into the mainstream news, because that's what it's all about. So they had to give us that narrative of black and white. So I don't believe it had anything to do with the two young white boys and their dad being FBI. I just don't personally believe it. Like I said, I don't think we'll ever know who killed him, even though the case has been reopened. And they did say one of the autopsies showed that he had blunt force trauma to the neck. Once again, where is any of the footage where he would have been killed at? Remember, we didn't get any footage of who actually found his body. They said they were playing on top of the mats and stuff. We never got any footage of anyone in this area. So conveniently, not even the person who supposedly found him. They made sure you didn't see any of that stuff. It's like you chasing your own tail. You know, we're gonna run you around the circle, and you never gonna actually get to the middle of it to really see the good stuff, to really see what actually happened, because this was planned. This was a ritual sacrifice from the beginning, not afterward, not after it happened. This wasn't like a cover up after everything. It was a cover up, but it was planned as well. The entire thing was planned. You know, it didn't just naturally happen. Then the boys called home, "Hey, Dad, we killed blah, blah, blah. We need you to come to the school, do your thing, your FBI thing, and cover this all up." No. They planned this entire thing. And that's that, man. So y'all already know what's going on, man. It's Sunday, you know, not too much of the usual Sunday video, but still fall right in line. You know, I've always kind of wanted to cover this story, and now that I have the platform to do so, I did just that. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. This was Kendrick Johnson. May he rest in peace, and may we find the real truth to the entire situation. I hope y'all had a good weekend. If you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate all the love for the birthday. And yeah, man. For all y'all that was commenting about the bricks in the video, I mean in the picture that I posted, I am not a Freemason for the 100th time. If you think I'm a Freemason, then you're I don't know what to say. There's just a lot of brick buildings downtown. And I just happen to have a smiling picture in front of a brick building. It's just as simple as that. So if you're gonna be ignorant, I'll just let you be ignorant. It is what it is. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed y'all weekend, man. Once again, I do appreciate all the love. As always, man, it's Black Balloon, and I'm gonna see y'all soon. I'm out.